Can you determine the main factor a person would need to overcome an obstacle? Why do you think two individuals share the same exact childhood experiences yet evolve into completely different adults? Many first-generation scholars arrive on campuses with scholarships, mentors, and family support. Yet, according to the US Department of Education, millions of them drop out each year. Why is that? Why would students with a full ride scholarship drop out of college? What's the difference maker that attributed to the success of graduates or that child that persisted despite a dysfunctional childhood? You want to guess what it was? My research revealed it was grit. Dr. Angela Duckworth, author of the New York Times bestseller, Grit, defines grit as having passion and perseverance to obtain long-term goals. To me, it's the power to overcome struggle. It's the resilience needed to thrive beyond obstacles. Grit is your ability to persist during an intense workout session, to keep fighting when at death's door, and ultimately refusing to quit despite life's obstacles. It's your ability to shove excuses for complacency to the side until you achieve beyond your greatest desire. My formula for grit is having great resilience in time. What does this mean? Well, the more resilience you have in a short amount of time, then the more grit you have available. The less resilience you have over a greater amount of time, then the less grit you have. Your intrinsic motivation is the key factor needed to achieve your goal. Here are some moments to consider when you're trying to connect how grit works in your life. When you have one more paragraph to write, grit kicks in as you refuse to quit until finished. Or when you're trying to make that sale, grit kicks in as you close the deal after hours at work. How about when you're trying to study as you pull an all-nighter and the coffee is failing you like it did me at 3 a.m.? Oh yes, grit kicks in. As you persist with passion and refuse to quit, in the end, you'll win. What drives your grit? Where does it come from? Is it something we learn? When you are driven by the hope of a dream being accomplished and you understand what motivates you, you will access and develop grit. The key is you need to understand and be attuned to what motivates you. It's through persistence that you refuse to settle. Choose to challenge yourself in every area of your life to stick it out over time. Know this for sure. Grit is absolutely attainable for all of us. It's simply the accountability clock that ticks away within our souls. Your persistence is tied to your purpose. When you are overwhelmed with life, resilience opens the door to the mental fortitude you need to conquer every hardship. When my youth pastor looked me in the eyes and told me that for the next 2 years of my life, I'd be residing in a homeless shelter, it was the inner motivation within that convinced me that there was still a road of success ahead and that no matter what, I would succeed. Through grit, I did whatever it took. Here was my routine. I woke up at 6 a.m., packed my food for the day, went to school, and participated in clubs. I worked part-time as a cashier to save money for college. Then, I worked on homework and scholarships till 4 a.m. As a result, I went from a homeless shelter into a college dorm overnight as a full ride scholar, marching my way into success at the University of Florida. This is an example of the culture of persistence that served me then and continues to serve me. An easy way for us to remember grit is great resilience in time. How do you harness grit? Good news is you already have grit. To activate it, you must allow your passion to drive the resilience within and utilize the vehicle of time to hold yourself accountable. Ask yourself, am I being intentional in obtaining my goals? Have I held myself accountable? Am I utilizing my time wisely for my desired success? Resilience and time management allows you to harness grit even when you're tempted to settle for average and not push through. How does it work? You need resilience and time management to achieve it. Resilience allows you to get back up again after you've made mistakes, lacked ambition, or are tempted to settle for average. Why do you need it? Grit is the anchor to your success. It's the determining factor whether you succumb to your circumstances or persist with passion to triumph. What does grit look like when approaching quitting a job or an assignment in life? Never measure your level of success with someone else's. Success is when you finished and when you can say that you did what you said you would. How do you begin to measure levels of grit in your life? Well, remember that time you were working out and you said you'd stop at 30 minutes, but pushed to 45 minutes? Yeah, that was grit. Grit is your answer to life when bouncing back from various facets of hurt, ranging from divorce, injustice, grief. No matter who you are or what you've accomplished, you'll continue to need grit. I can remember a time feeling exhausted as a graduate student while trying to finish school and assisting my mom as she battled cancer. Unsure of the future, I often wiped my tears as I completed assignments. Through grit, I was able to finish my doctorate in my mother's honor. Now, as an educator, I often share my methods of how I access grit while I teach in the classroom, as I teach in my online school, as I write math textbooks, and as I train educators across the nation to thrive. Here's an example of a time grit came into effect with one of my students. He scored a level 1 on the state assessment, displayed low motivation, and wasn't sure he'd be able to pass that test in that academic year. I refused to allow him to settle and constantly reminded him to tap into his grit. At the end of that school year, he scored a level 5, which is the highest level a student could score on that test. In the end, he was resilient, overcame his anxiety, and refused to quit. And now, he's thriving through grit. Remember those first-generation college scholars? While college access programs, mentoring, family support, and scholarships all attributed to their success, the key determinant factor to their success was grit. Like them, each of us deserve the opportunity through grit to thrive. Resilience and time management alone can help you overcome, but together, they'll make you unstoppable. Persistence is the match you need to strike hope again. Grit is the pushback against life's obstacles. When you harness grit, you tie a vision to your purpose. Activating grit allows you to remind yourself, I've got this. Hang in there. So that ultimately, because of persistence, you can say, well done. You did it. No matter where you are in your cycle of life, remember, take grit with you. The more resilience you have in time, the more grit will carry you into your legacy. Activate the power of grit as you break through every obstacle of life and thrive. Thank you.